Hey, we're live again. This time with some talkie. It's been a crazy busy day, guys. I'm sunburnt, I'm clammy, but I thought that, it's super loud in here, so it's the perfect time to go live, right? So, have just terrible audio. Kind of give you a little rundown of the day. Just got back from eating dinner. It is 9:30, so a little better than one of the other days, so why not go live? Anyway, I just want to give you guys a little rundown from the day from my perspective. I thought it went actually really well. It started out with the show and shine, and then we did the retro races. Now, I did absolutely terrible. Yeah, I don't know why I did so terrible, but I lost in the first heat that I was in. Now, here's the cool thing, though. I qualified with two trucks. My Grandma Digger truck did the best. Both of them qualified, I guess, A-main. So they both did all right, but way better with the Grandma Digger. Now, the fun thing was that they were looking for a truck for a grandma truck for Dennis Anderson to run. So they wanted to use my truck, which was fine. I was totally cool with that. It's a pretty good performing truck, looks good, and I had entered two anyway, so for me to give up one of my trucks wasn't the biggest deal, although it was my faster truck, I will say, and it had an awesome tow hitch lockout on the back. However, I did run my Bigfoot. The problem was that the little hitch is just a S-hook kind of a thing, and it hooks over, for most people, the rear steering or the lockout, you put a bar there. And on mine, it wasn't set very good on the takeoff or the start, and it slid all the way to the left, and the whole truck turned, and right off the start, all the weight pulled and twisted my truck right into the wall, and I just couldn't even get it. I just had to unhitch. It actually fell off. I didn't even unhitch it. So 2-second point there, and then I was trying to play catch up, and there was no catching up, so I just threw it in fourth gear and had some fun. But so yeah, it was cool watching Dennis. He won his first round with the Grandma Digger, and then the second one he got all hung up, and then he had some fun. So that was great to see. Now I'm sitting in the RV. My morning started today. Let's start with a recap, since that's what this video is called. Recap back to 5 a.m. this morning when I woke up, which actually starts last night. I had a whole bunch of people come by to buy some shirts, and I thought I was doing great. Everybody had shirts pretty much that I had here that I could make for them. It's a little bit longer process to do just for having to make them on the spot. So a couple I was able to deliver. The other ones I told him I'd have them in the morning. But one of them I sold to the first guy, and I thought it was awesome. He wanted one of the vintage wash. Well, it was one when I was hammering my sign posts in. I saw it happen. The shirt got between the post and the hammer, and it tore holes in it. So I took it off the hanger. It was hanging on my awning. Shoved it in just on a table or something, saying keep it away. But when I was out packing up after the long day on Thursday, it was just hot, mosquitoes, millions of mosquitoes down here, and so I guess I threw it in the box. So I was looking through for something. I said, oh yeah, I got one of these sizes left, and I handed it to him. Well, they brought it back and it had holes in it. So I drove home. Luckily, I found another one of those shirts in the box. The problem is it's a special dye sublimation shirt, and I had to print off another print on my shirt. So I drove home to my printer, printed off more sheets of the special paper and ink. Went to Walmart to get some more shirts because people were wanting a lot of shirts this weekend, way more than I expected, and so I had to get more in different sizes also than I expected. So it was good, but 5 a.m. that's where I started. Get back here, show and shine. 8 o'clock I get back. 8:30 show and shine, so we had to get the trucks out. Then they were going to have a driver's meeting, so I'm show and shining my trucks, doing video of that with you guys, a live video I did from there, and then they wanted a group drone shot, so I had to get the drone out, so I'm carrying that during the driver's meeting. Anyway, crazy. Then I had to go get my retros to race, Then I found out Dennis wants one, so we have to bind a new controller to it. Had to figure out how to bind that controller to it. Race. So I was already kind of stressed anyway, so that's probably why I didn't race very good. I had more shirt orders coming in that morning, and people were waiting, and I'd said 30 minutes, and now, by the time they got them, my 30 minutes, I told them was like 4 hours. So, yeah. I see there's some guys watching. Are the comments working? Am I just missing some? Sometimes you guys are talkative, sometimes it's quiet, so I don't know who's watching. But anyway, it was an awesome day, to say the least. It was just, for me, it was very busy because we did retro, and then we had to do hill and hole. Now, here's the thing about the hill and hole, the mud truck stuff. So I had my little Snake Bite red mud truck, SCX 10 based, not made for mega truck runs, more for like a bounty hole or something, you know, straight shot. So the problem was the son of a digger had lost a front drive shaft when we were trying to fit it for the freestyle axles at my house, and I'd taken it off to see if it would fit with the diffs from Traxxas. Anyway, stole that from the mud truck. Didn't know that we'd be running that right away, so I had to then come back, take off my front drive shaft, put it back onto the mud truck, which I ended up stripping, so that's going to be more work for me later, apparently. And run over there. But Jade Concepts also wanted some drone footage. They've seen me fly my drone, and so I'm trying to fly the drone. They call me to race my mud truck. I'm trying to land it, get it set up, whatever. That was just for fun. I knew it. I just wanted some footage of it going through the mud. We got it. But yeah, so anyway, I've got my trucks over here, just over my shoulder. Some of them, these are the ones I have to keep inside, the Cloudbusters, because I love them and I don't want them getting all beat up under the truck. So, yeah, I'm kind of bummed. I thought that maybe the stuff isn't working fully here on my phone. Somebody just say something, say hi or something. Let me know the comments are working. Are the comments working? Somebody that's watching. There's several people watching. So either they're not working or they are working and they're not showing up because this app is so finicky. Alright, there we go. We've got a hay. We got a couple hays. Okay. So it is working, maybe on a little delay. But so yeah, so hill and hole. Then after that, it did slow down a little bit for me. I had to make up those shirts. And anyway, it's been a great day of racing, and just being a part of it and being here and all the people, lots of people here. So it's good to see that things are actually running smoothly. We didn't even get to the Pro Mod, but we've knocked out all of the racing except for the Pro Mod and then the Polars, which I think we're going to be Sunday anyway. So everything's looking pretty good. You know, they'd have liked to get through all of the trucks on the main track there today, so we could do the fun stuff, the freestyle, the pulling, and the bounty hole tomorrow. But we'll have one set of racing to do. The 2.2, that was my first time out on the track. I qualified well, B main, and you know, I was going against Dylan Lester, who's, you know, really good anyway. But we both were coming down pretty neck and neck. I mean, he had a little bit of an advantage, and it gets in my head sometimes, you know, because I can see him out of the corner of my eye and where he is, and so I was trying to punch it a little bit instead of just riding my game like I do in qualifying. And that's the hard part, is you know, doing this enough that you just train your brain to do what you do. And but yeah, it got into my head, and so I tried to punch it around the last corner, and it didn't break free like I expected it to, like it did in the qualifying when it was dustier. And so I punched it, and it didn't break, and I ended up hitting the divider, flipping over into his lane, and I was done, turtled. But we've been live streaming, so on top of all of that, we've been live streaming. We did retro, we live streamed the hill and hole while I was also flying the drone and getting the other footage. So I've been working like a dog. As you can see, I'm just kind of like sunburnt, and yeah. But Tomorrow's the last day. We're gonna try and get a lot more footage for you guys. So let us know what you want to see. If you have any questions about the event that you want me to kind of like clarify, we can do that. Had a great interview with James from Parma. We got to look at his Overkill Evolution truck, and so that's pretty cool. So that'll be coming as a video, a whole like kind of feature piece on his truck, his 2 trucks actually. So, but I'm gonna kind of save the other one till the video is released. And yeah, so that's kind of just the update. Again, live stream, so I haven't had my phone, haven't been able to respond to anybody because I didn't have internet once I was live streaming. All of my data and everything was going out there to you guys on YouTube, and my phone just literally sat in a tripod all day long, it seemed like. And so yeah, we'll have probably like recap videos from some of this I missed because I've been running around with my head chopped off. I missed the 2.2 on my bigger camera, so I won't be able to do the last 3 of that. I missed the end of the Pro electric class, I think it was, I missed. So there's a couple, and so I'll probably do a recap kind of a video with a lot of the footage. We got some great drone footage of it all. Yeah, so we got the Phantom out and my big camera, which is right here, which I gotta empty all the stuff from, and all the stuff off from my phones, and not this one because this was live streaming, but I had a little pocket one, the old phone before I got this one that I kept to use as a video camera. So I've got to dump all that footage and photos and all that, hit Instagram, all that tonight. Hopefully, I mean, maybe I'll be able to get something up for you to watch tonight. I don't know, we'll see. There's a lot of footage to go through, so it may or may not happen. But what are you all doing tonight? I see that there's a couple people in there. I might end up just crashing early because I got up at 5 a.m. But yeah, the trucks, my wife brought the X-Max for me. We were launching the Low C, which I mentioned before, and so that's something that you can watch on Instagram and Facebook. If I can get out and get more footage of it launching, we might make some kind of video to put up on YouTube for you guys as well. But try to capture as much as we can, and knowing that I'll have the week to be able to fine-tune some of it before we post it, and let the live stuff be what you're watching in the now, kind of, and kind of give you the more of an overview what the feeling is like and the mood is like here in the other video. So but yeah, it's really smooth. We haven't had the weather issues yet like we had last year, and so that's made things move a whole lot faster. Yeah, I don't have really any complaints about what they got going on. I love the retro class. I think that's one of the coolest things. I did all right in the qualifying and had fun with it, and I was bummed that I got knocked out so quickly in the in the actual finals. Joey won it, which is really cool for him to be able to win it. It's kind of their idea to bring the sled in, and that was just kind of a really fun part of it, was having the sled that we had to tow. However, that was my biggest problem, was the sled, because it slid on because I had the rear wheel steer and on a rear servo, and so we're hooked on, and that it just kind of slid. I think in hindsight now, we haven't done it really before, so I'm going to put some zip ties on in order to lock it and keep it from moving left to right so easily, and just sliding down the bar and then just tugging on that rear on one side and making me go crooked. But other than that, other than my poor performance with truck-wise, I've been really enjoying it. We'll definitely get some bash footage. I got some footage of my kids running retros on my little outdoor course. I got footage me racing Ethan, who I just met, him and his father, really cool guys. Came down from New York, and they're hanging out right beside us, and so we've been running a little retro track, but now they've opened up the Hill and Hole that J Concepts and the Andersons put together, And so those jumps and hills are available for us to go bashing on, which has been fun. So after I lost my 2.2, I took it over there and let my boys run it, let another kid run it that was there and asking to run. And so, you know, because I didn't need it to be operational anymore, you know, if it breaks, I've got plenty of time I can work on it and get it fixed. So it's cool to be able to let kids play with it. See? There's my tiredness coming out from that early morning. But anyway, guys, let me know either on here in the comments below if there's anything that you want to see before we leave here. I got some cool footage of the truck over there, the VP racing truck that's out front of Gravediggers as well. Somebody just commented. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Christopher says, just finished working on a couple of my Tamiya cars. So were you able to get Son of a Digger up and running? Yes, Son of a Digger is up and running again. It was really just the front drive shaft that was missing. I just pulled another MIP from my mud truck. And actually I broke the mud truck, and so I don't know if there's footage of that anywhere, but maybe it's on the live stream. But it just pulled away the arm, trailing arm from the axle, and it just like looked like a broken monster truck. But and it just locked everything up. It actually looked really cool. I think actually I had the drone, so I was flying my drone while racing, which I don't, you know, that's not kosher. I did hand over the controls though to somebody that's very qualified if something were to go wrong. Yeah, it's just, so I do have footage probably there, but that was fun to be able to just run it in that setting. It's definitely not a competition truck, but we had fun. I'm going to try it for the hill and hole now that it's working again now, see if I can't. That's just really probably good for, or not hill and hole, the bounty hole, or just thick mud, because what happens is on just straight ground, there's so much torque that we put into it to dig through the mud that it's just unstable. But you get it down the mud and you push it, and it's got something to keep it stable and not so jerky. It'll just tear through it. So just more proof that I had more chunky mud in my backyard than you guys thought, because I had way more control there. So hey James, how's it going? Jamestown, he's asking how he can get some stickers. Well, I need to order a few more. I surprisingly went through all of them, or I lost the last part of them. But I only had a little bit left anyway. Man, sorry guys, I don't mean to be yawning on camera, but yeah, I only had a few of them left, but I think either I lost them or so I need to order some more of both the bigger and the smaller sets that I send out to people. So I'll do that. I made, you know, I've got a little bit of extra money now from selling some of the shirts that I can put back into stickers that I can send you guys. So there's somebody else that's asking about them that's been waiting for about a month now that I've been out of them. I haven't had the time to order them and do all the design stuff that they need for them again, or the extra money at the moment. So, but yeah, because I need to order both in order to send them out, that's kind of part of the problem. So, but I will get them out to people. All right, that's cool, James. So, yeah, anyway, my trucks are back just in here with me. That's where I've been making the shirts over there. Back there's a new CCxRC big print shirt. Got a big old logo on the front of it that I'll be wearing tomorrow. I had to print up a new one because I went through more clothes than I expected because it's just so humid here. But I've got footage on here. I was thinking maybe I could, yeah, like this. Here, hold on. All right. There's that. Here's some retro. Yo, here's the Bog Hog. Teeny Man's truck. So just a quick clip. This is kind of show you a little bit how I shoot too. My style. Just quick. Whoop, escape. What else do we get? So I think we got one of them pulling in. I don't know if we had the big, yeah, here's Blue Crush arriving. That's a sweet looking truck too. There's an awesome custom RC made of that as well, that won one of the Show and Shine awards. What's this one? Quick preview. So that's the retro stuff. Alright, so this will give you an idea of how the retro works. Look at that old one. So I do the pull, then they got to unhook them, which they got a lot better at, because they were keeping them moving really fast through what they call the mud pit, which is corn, over basically a sky wheelie ramp, and out over the back and jump. So that was fun. So let's see, what do we got here? Somewhere in here, we get back to racing footage. What's this shot? All right, okay, here we go. Here's Dennis Anderson running my grandma digger. Just getting ready to, here we go. Oh, this is the one he gets hung up on though. This isn't his win. He was having a good old time though. So anyway, you'll see a lot of this stuff, maybe not in its entirety like you're seeing here, but this is kind of the sneak peek behind the scenes of all the stuff that's going on and goes on. Up here's footage from the hill and hole. See if we can't find a video one. Yeah, here's one. Oh, I didn't even notice that girl hiding under there in the shade. That's awesome. Oh yeah, so here's kind of a peek of the hill and hole. I think I sweep all the way around it. Yeah, here. We'll let it start here and give you guys a little sneak peek as it goes around. But they had Blue Crush and the Bog Hog mud truck set up. Here they're gonna go through the mud right here. So I've got a ton of different angles and shots of that. I'm not sure which one I'll pull out for the final videos, but you just got to shoot while you can. Got some pictures and stuff when everybody, yeah, where's this video of that one somewhere. Yeah, here it is. This is the, when everybody's got all their trucks and all that lined up. So this is Show and Shine with all the trucks out on the track. So yeah, I mean overall, I mean they accomplished a lot today. All the race footage. At this point I realized, I should probably get all this stuff off of my memory card. And so that's what we did. After we got the group photo of everybody out with all the trucks lined up. So, you guys are in the know. You saw the sneak peek of everything. But we'll be back tomorrow with more. And how's it going, James? But tomorrow's what I'm really looking forward to. That's the Pro Mod trucks. That's my favorite. Well, I like my 2.2 truck a lot. With the J Concept rims with the Proline tires on it. That thing just is, the wheel winders, everything's just really cool. So, yeah. So Christopher, he wants some stickers too. Yeah, I'll need you guys, if you send me a note on Instagram or Facebook, that's my easiest way to go back and find out who and get that information for stickers, and it'd be a lot easier for me to remember that you wanted them. But yeah, sorry about the bison pin. That's a bummer, man. A lot of people are actually running like 4mm by, I think they're 55 length M4. You have to look it up. If you go to the bison page on Facebook, they talk about replacing the pins with a screw and having a nut on the other side, which is a better option. So it keeps everything pulled together so that it doesn't separate too. But yeah, I'm trying to cool off. I mean, I've got the generator just cranking. It's been cranking all day, having to run the power for the camera, for the live stream, the heat press over there, the vinyl cutter, all this stuff that I had going on top of racing and filming and all that. So, but the air conditioning is on, and I'm still just like hot because I'm so just sticky still from being out all day in the sun and sweating. And so I'll have to shower here probably in a little bit, and hopefully that will make me feel a little bit better. But see, now we've got the largest group of people in here, and they just missed the previews. I mean, sorry guys. Maybe we'll have to pull up some other thing to show you now that you're here. James asked about my fridge working better. You know, it's worked most of the time. It did cut out though, so but I couldn't find somebody with a meter to test it, which is what I needed. Somebody to check the DC to see if I was getting DC power to it, because it always has to have a DC current. So it's either that is the problem, or it has a bad board at the top, electrical, like the computer board is all cold soldered, so it could be that. But the guy gave me a whole nother one. So Charles Wendler asking, was the track tacky at all, or was it pretty loose? It was pretty loose for qualifying. I'm not a big racer, so I don't know what you consider tacky. I just know that when I hit the last corner, it was not like it was during qualifying, because my 2.2, I mean, I ran it during practice 50 times around the track, never had an issue with control. Felt like driving it in my backyard. Today, my first time out on the track and being in the B main against Dylan, who I already had me worried being against him, but it really gripped. I couldn't get the back end to slide around either in those first corners or at the very last one. So you know, it's tough because different people water it all the time, so you just never know what you're gonna get. So yeah. Michael B says, hey man, hopefully you can cool down soon. It was a hot day today and I'm in Jersey. Yeah, the New York guys are here. It's like, man, you guys can have this heat. we were all kind of in misery together about it, and it's not even like dead on summer here yet, but it was humid and warm. The sun was just brutal on us. So, but again, I've got a bunch of more footage. I've got new drone footage I got to capture off my car today, and I've got all of this that I've got to get brought over, make sure my audio and everything's good, change out my batteries, charge these batteries, car batteries, my battery pack for my phone so I can have extra power without having to run the generator, but keep the phone juiced up. And I usually have 2 of these, but I can't find the other one. Can you use the X-Max at these events? Yep, there's several of them. It falls in the 4x4 electric class. Pretty much you can run a lot of things in that class, from e-revos to, I just can't have a center diff, and it can't have AVC on, things like that. So you have to disable AVC in the X-Max, and that's it. I did see the part where you tried to slide into the turn to finish, but ended up in the other lane. So I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, that whole thing, you hit that straightaway coming down, and you just turned, and it just whipped all weekend long until today. And so it's frustrating when it just isn't what you expect. it to be like, because every time I ran it, it was one way, and then in my actual race, it wasn't anything like what you expected it to be like. So, in fact, I was running it in some of the looser stuff, just getting the whip and stuff around again before I went out there, in stuff that felt like what I was running in yesterday. But you know, I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm not really here to win, and I mean, you like winning, but whatever. James, yes, watering down the track affects that totally. And so some people, and you get different people with different theories on it. Some people soak the track. Other people just get the top layer a little bit so it's not creating dust, but even that top layer still slides because under it is still kind of dry. And that's kind of what I do. And then there's other people who make it so it's tacky coming out of the turn. It's wetter coming out of the turn, but not as wet going into it. So you get that slide in the beginning, but then you grip on your way out to get speed. So yeah, it does. It's how it's watered down, and I'm cool with it. I mean, I could tell looking at it, I'm like, man, this is not gonna be what I expect it to be like, and it is gonna be what. And part of it was just I knew Dylan had that little edge, and so I had to just try and squeeze out whatever I could around that back corner, because I didn't expect him to make a mistake. So, Charles says, especially if you're qualifying, got used to sliding out. Yep. Jacob saying, thank you for doing the live stream. Could not watch all of them, but it was really cool. Awesome. Hope those things worked for you guys. Charles says he was here last year for the experience. That's what I'm here for all the time. I mean, all of the stuff around it. I mean, if I was really here to race, I wouldn't do all this extra stuff on the outskirts of what it is, because it's just distracting. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be up there. Like, my truck wasn't ready, and they're calling my name to get up and pre-stage for our main, and you know, trying to grab everything and run up there and make sure that everything else is working. But yeah, I mean, it's the atmosphere, it's the people, it's, you know, just the hanging out and the camaraderie. That's what I like about it. So that's what I come for. And around that, like, I've got my E-Revo here, I've got my X-Max here, which I'm not racing. I've got my low C DBXLE, and so I'm just running trucks. So we've been running the retros all day outside on the little jumps and ramps and stuff that I brought. So it's really just 3 days to be able to sit around and do RC stuff and you know, make some content for you guys. But that's what I'm saying. If you guys have something that you want to see that I might be missing or something, I'll try and get it. Jacob's asking, I've seen the new Proline trenchers for the X-Max that are coming out. I have not seen that. Michael B is asking where the scheduling is posted for the races there at Diggers. Really, they do this one. It's every Memorial Day weekend. They Dennis and them let us come here and run these. And they're here on Saturday. They'll be there Friday, kind of checking some of it out, but they were like literally here a lot today, most of the day. They did the same thing last year. Dennis is around talking to people, signing autographs, all that. They were racing the trucks, their kids were racing trucks, and so it's a fun time. And they're very just personable people, you know, they're just people, and they come out and, you know, have a good time. So laugh at themselves, laugh with you about yourself. The one thing, I don't know if you guys, if they announced it on their pages yet, but J Concepts, the Bog Hog and all that was in the background, is because they just announced a new body, the Bog Hog body, to go with their King Sling for the Mega Mud Trucks. So I think they think that the Mega Mud Trucks are going to be the next big thing, and the Bog Hog body is sick. Let me see, I got video of it here when they did the unveiling, and they gave it to Teeny Man. Where is that video? So if you give me a second here, I'll source it up and we'll show it to you guys. Yeah, here it is. Dun, dun, dun. Where's the video portion? I recorded so much video. All right, here we go. Yeah, so here's Fred from J Concepts. Oops, this might have been the second one. So they gave Son of a Digger body to Ryan. And so they raced these bodies. So I didn't go back far enough. So if you give me 1 second. There's Kristen. So we gotta go back to this video, I think. Let's see. There it is. This is where they give it to him. Isn't that cool looking? It comes with the decals and everything, so you pretty much paint it orange, do a little black there in the top scoop, and you have a pretty sweet looking truck.
I've only been in this new bog hog for about two years now, but my popularity has never grown as much as this, and just from playing in the truck or playing in the dirt with little toy trucks and then going to RCs and doing stunts and everything, I never thought I'd be at this level right here, and it would never happen without any of you guys coming. Thank you for being here. Go over there and check out some J Concepts. All right, Dennis, what are you going to say about that?
So you guys think about that.
Yes, it is, man. I'm telling you, and I've seen some sneak previews of this baby as it was going on, and it's a beautiful thing, you know, and this, when I say it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah, so that's the one I'm wanting. When I do my Mega Mud truck, that bog hog body is just insane. So I like that, and I like the Blue Crush one that I saw. That's not one that you can buy, but somebody's made one, and it's insanely cool. But you got to put a little bit more work and effort into finding it and all of that. I think it's an old HPI body that's hard to find. So, they usually aren't here tomorrow, but we're going to have freestyle and other things like that. I'm going to do the live stream like we did for all the other races today with the Pro Mods, but I'll probably try and go live and give a little bit more of a look around as well. Maybe I'll do it where I just pick that camera up and we go in also in the downtime talk and things like that. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, partly because my Son of a Digger surprisingly qualified like last. Not last, but in the last the last main, so not very good. Charles wants the 08 Ford body to come out. Yeah, man, that'd be cool. Jacob's asking, did I see Dennis drive one of your trucks in a race? Yes, Jacob. He was running my grandma digger. It's right actually here. He signed it for me. We got a little photo op and stuff together at the end. Oh, there's my feet. Says, thanks, Tony. Dennis Anderson, 2018. So that's the one that he ran. This grandma digger, Claude. And look at this, guys. Can you see that? I thought to put down a towel under my trucks. My wife will be very happy when she watches this video. She probably won't be happy that I put them on the couch in the first place, but at least I was thinking enough to put a towel down. So, someone's asking how my Son of a Digger is performing in general. You know, I really like it. Okay, so here's a couple things. It may actually perform a lot better tomorrow because my problem with it was that it was just kind of just all over going down the fast straight. I could not get it to stay straight. Now, part of it may have been that the rear tires were put on backwards. So we tried to take it apart, tried to put the freestyle axles on before the qualifying. And then that was a no-go. So we took them back off, put everything back together. That's when I started running it and I realized that I was missing the front drive shaft. So we put that on and then I went out and I ran it. So maybe because it was so dusty, I was just skating all over. I don't remember it doing that when we raced here a month ago to test out the track and see the timing of everything. But it ran really weird in qualifying. Now, if it's tackier, it might do better. It's running the Firestorms, I think. Hey, Steve, what's going on? So, it doesn't have the big, deep tread that the Renegades have, or whichever. I mean, I might be backwards on those two. There's the Renegades and there's the Firestorms, and it's one of them. I think they're the Firestorm, which have the lower tread, and so it wasn't digging into the dirt. It was really, you know, I mean, there's the top layer on all that. So, Tony, check out the thumbnail on this. It's the fake sleeping one, because that's what it's supposed to be. So anyway, that's what it's running. So it's kind of just like on ice coming down that beat. I am beat, man. That was why I did the thumbnail that way, because a recap after a long day starting at 5 a.m. So, but yeah, someone was saying earlier it's time to put the body to retirement. That body needs to be in retirement anyway because it's not actually a great body. The paint job is amazing. The body is brittle, super brittle. I've cracked it in multiple places now with very little, like, pop wheelies up on the back, cracked the back panel, a little rollover off of crushed cars, cracked the body post pin area around it where the you put your clips in. I mean, very, very light crashes, and it's just, the brake, you can tell it's just kind of a hard plastic, almost like it's a hard body. But so I taped it earlier, all the inside of it with Gorilla Tape, and it's just, I think because that body is not the J Concepts one that was made before, and so somebody had made their own mold and was designing these bodies for people to be able to kind of get. And so I don't know, maybe they used a different material and it's just more brittle, probably easier for them to vacuum form, but less forgiving. So anyway, it's time to retire that and get a new one. Maybe I'll put snakebite on it. No, I've already got the rims gold. It's got to be grandma. So maybe I'll do a J Concepts one and see if I can get somebody to paint that up again. But, so Steve's asking, did Dennis end up driving one of your trucks? Yes, he drove my grandma digger that we're talking about. They were asking if somebody had a grandma digger that they could let them run. So I let him run mine because I had two trucks anyway that qualified. Both of them qualified A-main. So I mean, the grandma digger definitely does better with that ZRP chassis. It's a little extended, the camera's out, and be able to film it what everybody's doing. So I'm kind of just like the extra got put in just to fill in the spaces. Steve saying awesome, should have had him sign it and then retire it as a shelf queen. See that gray marker on the top of there, Steve? Got it. So, yeah. I got to drive his Nemesis, the Bigfoot. So he won out. He got to run 2 races because he won his first one. I literally lost mine off the very first start pull, and my truck went, you know, the sled's behind it, and it went, and then just right into the wall because it just it tugged it. So it just wasn't centered, and it just was able to slide, and it sucked. But it is what it is. I didn't even foresee it coming because it did great on both trucks last night, so I did not expect that at all. And when it happened, I was the only one that happened to. So yeah, it may have been because I put it in, and because mine's running the servo, so over here it has another arm, and so maybe because I had to put it on it and I didn't center it under that arm. I don't know what it was. Maybe I didn't get tension, and so when I started it slid before it had tension. could have been anything, but it was really frustrating that I had 2 good runs qualifying, and for that to happen was just kind of a bummer. But it is what it is. Same thing with the 2.2. Is what it is. I'm not gonna get it all bent out of shape about it. So anyway, what are you guys up to tonight? Some of you guys said you're wrenching on cars, so I'm hoping that Sticker Bomb does pretty good. It qualified really well, so I was up there, and I mean they were like 14.6, 0.7, 0.8, and I was right up there with a 14.8. So I was one of the higher qualifiers actually with it. So I'm used to driving that one. I like driving it. So hopefully I won't. Basically, I feel like a lot of times I'm not a competitive person, and so when I get into those situations, you know, things get kind of rattle me in a way. So even though I'm still really calm about it, I'm not feeling rattled. I don't know what it is. I don't drive like I normally do. But qualifying stuff, I'm usually all right. There was that one day that I did super good, even though it was broken and went 2-wheel drive, and I won that the 2.2 class. So I don't know what it is. I guess basically because I was like, yeah, well, run 2-wheel drive, we'll just go for it, you know. And won several races 2-wheel drive. James saying he's gonna get his SMT10 upgraded when he's got some more funds. I hear that. I need to figure out how I'm gonna do these CCxRC axles, or get rid of them, sell them. Night Cruiser says he fixed his Creighton front diff and worked on getting this Techno FCT electronic sorted. Ah, nice. His race was bumped tomorrow due to rain, or to tomorrow. That's cool. We got bumped. I mean, we scheduled to finish anything on Sunday. Yeah, we hope. Man, I'm gonna have to go to bed after this. I was gonna try and edit some of this footage and whatnot, but I'm feeling it. Yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying. James Price saying can't use the freestyle axle on the son of a digger. I can, just nothing works because I've got a. I ordered the parts already to be able to match the diff out drive, the output shaft on it, and so that's good. The problem is then with the links that it has on it, it pushes the axle so far away based on where the uppers mount that first of all the drive shafts are too short, so I need to get shorter trailing arms if I want the, like on the SMT10 point of reference, your trailing arm goes straight in. Now I've seen some people with the freestyles go underneath with their lower arms, so that might make the lower arms still work all right, but the uppers are then too long and it really cocks the axle really crazy, so your shaft's going up at a really bad angle. But again, it's just makes it too long to make that reach if it's here. So I either have to make new links for it. Charles, they did drop the 2-wheel drive short course class. And I'm of the mindset that I would drop all the short course classes and introduce a center diff class, because those are more monster truck to me just because of the tire sizes than a short course truck is. They don't let center diff trucks run in these, but there's so many people that have a Creighton that could possibly be a part of this. So anyway, that's just my thought. I mean, I don't run it, it's not my thing, but I just feel like they have more of a place in here than the short course trucks do, because short course trucks have the other races that they do already. But I've only raced a year, so it doesn't matter what I think. I don't understand how all this works anyway. I'm just a basher that shows up and films the races and loses in the first round. But yeah. No, they did drop it. It was because of time. And if we had the two-wheel drive, we'd be further behind today, too. So. Net Cruiser saying that's a good point. It'd be nice to have more classes, whatever. Steve, you could actually run the Concepts Monster Slash in the 4x4 electric, which is just basically anything like an E-Revo, things like that that use a slipper clutch and don't have a center diff. So the Monster Slash fits into the 4x4 electric. So you have 4x4 electric, 4x4 nitro. Those are basically going to be your Revos and things that have independent suspension but no center diff. So that's why the X-Max qualifies in that. Even though it's bigger, it's not really about tire size with that. It's about just one class of those. Then there's 2.2, which is a smaller sized wheel. But basically Pro Mod, you can do whatever you want. It has to be solid axle. Very few rules and regulations on how that's all set up. Then there's the Pro Mod, which is the same. It's kind of like you take an SMT10 and upgrade it to whatever. Or even if you just didn't even upgrade your SMT10, it would still be considered a Pro Mod. But yeah, so you could do Cloudbuster axles with ZRP chassis or K2 chassis or Freestyle RC or Axial or whatever, you know, homemade, if it's got the solid axles, 2.6 tires, I think less than 4S, but yeah. So I'm saying, look at our show, saying look at the RH Design short wheelbase conversion kit, the SMT. I looked at that. I just have to find out if that works and is what I need for the freestyle. That's what the first thing that came into mind. So Northern Lights is sport mod. Which one's that? Northern Nightmare? The Red Cat? The Red Cat's a pro mod as well. Because it's solid axle and I've got the Freestyle RC brace under it. So yeah, my Northern Nightmare is. There's somebody else that runs one, I think is a Nitro. I think Joey runs a Nitro one. Trying to cover up a yawn that was coming again. So yeah, that's kind of the class breakdown for the most part. But then there's pro classes on top of some of those. So if you're a pro driver, then you'd have to run in those pro classes for 4x4 short course. Each one of those has a pro class designation in them as well to kind of separate them out, which I think might be to their benefit, because if they had a bad qualifying for whatever reason and had to work their way up a lot more mains, they might not podium, whereas the pro classes are much smaller, so you know, it may in fact work to their advantage in some ways. James asked, after this, is this the last event? No, they've got some other ones. I know they did the one at like a pig roast kind of a thing. But I think, yeah, they take a little break and then they start up again. Maybe August. I don't remember. But I know that there's a few, because I went to the Halloween Bash one in October, and I don't remember, that was the end, I think, of whatever fall series there was, and it went to winter, or whatever the next class was, or the next series was. They do it based on points, and you know, then they have a points champion for that fall series or of events or whatever. But again, there's a whole rule guidelines and book, and everybody does it different. Some people make retros be different size motors than we run. Some people, hey Timothy, some say they have to be completely stock retros, meaning 4-wheel steer from a center steer point, like the classics are. Ours, it has to have stock axles, basically. It has to have the stock 4-link setup or stock link setup. Yeah. Charles asking, did I run my e-Revo in 4x4? I did not. I already entered 6 trucks, and so that was in this. So I ran 2 retro. So basically I paid for Dennis to drive, now that I think about it. He owes me 20 bucks. No, I'm just kidding. I paid for 2 retros, and then I paid for my 2.2, and then I have 3 Pro Mods. So at 20 bucks a pop, that's 120 bucks, plus there's 20 bucks more to run Hill and Hole. Yeah, that's right, Steve said, no, that's the price of a signature. I better get a little certificate of authenticity for that much. Timothy saying, seeing you this morning. That's cool. Are you here, Timothy, or you just popped in earlier? Or you just saw on online? But yeah, it gets expensive, and so I didn't pay. It's not competitive. Those 4.4 electric guys are wicked fast. So that cruiser, they don't use transponders. What they have are light beams at the start and end, and so that tracks you for if you leave early. So it's literally side by side, red, yellow, green, go on green, ding, 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 go. So some people actually get faster times by light to light, but lose because what it's actually calculating is from when it knows it hit green to when you cross the finish line. The initial light is really to know if you tripped early, if you went too soon, or if you're across the start line at the start, you know, making sure nobody's trying to get a little competitive edge. So, but it still calculates that, so you can actually see, oh wow, based on light to light, or you know, whatever, there's a beam to beam, that person was faster than the guy that actually won the heat by hundredths of a second, because the one guy just got a better jump off the line. So you can see those kind of details, so it's pretty cool. The problem is, so here's one of the funny things, if you hit the transponders, you're done, you're out, disqualified for just clipping it on the way through, if you knock that beam out when you go through and hit it. So that's how they kind of run that, and it's a pretty cool transponder system. Hill and Hole was run pretty much the exact same way. There's one just red to green, I think. You just watch it and then it just turns green and you go. But you start on a hill, down, up over a hill, up over another one, tight turn, come right back through the mud, which has a little jump into it, and just out. It's narrow, and those guys, man, they had screaming fast trucks. And so you look at my tall mud truck that's just like clumsy and like top heavy, narrow wheels and just tall. It looks like a, you know, a good old boy's truck back in the 80s. And it was not low like these guys were with the King Sling tires on it. But mine has a lot of power. People were shocked when I just tap it and it just, you could see just the torque in it and the dust, you know, that was kicking up. But that doesn't do any good on the ground, because there's not enough control for that tall, high weight that it has, and the underpowered shocks. So it was a mega truck, which most of them were SMT-10 base with the King Sling tires and wicked brushless motor systems in it. So they were screaming, but they still, I'll say this, those tires bite hard in the corner. So those guys were rolling over like mad. They weren't landing the jumps well, and so they were having a hard time keeping them straight too. So I probably could have just like joyrided mine slowly through and maybe maybe qualified pretty good. Timmy's asking, did I win any races? Nope. I had not. Well, I didn't even. Well, I finished the retro. I didn't really finish my. I disqualified in the 2.2 for jumping the guardrail into the other track and flipping. I tried the slow and steady thing, Steve, and it's just no fun. So I might win the race, but it's not a fun way to get to the finish line. So I was, like I said, I ended up breaking it, but it went back together. And so I think if they do the bounty run tomorrow, I'm in on that, because that should be, basically they're looking for somebody that can make it through it. So the problem I found with the hill and hole was I wanted the mud, and this was just like a puddle, and you know, you jumped in and you were out so easy. There's no dig in that mud. And it's because it was kind of sandy. They'd fill it and they'd turn it. They had guys turning that stuff over, and it just was not. It wasn't as good as what I had in my backyard when I was doing my first runs and my videos, where I had that really soupy concoction that was just gripping on those tires. But everyone thought that I didn't have a lot of mud in there because it was doing so well in it. But in comparison to this, that stuff was tacky. I mean, I was seeing what it does in this and how much power I still had left. I mean, I was just rolling that thing, flipping and going nuts. So empty my camper septic and I will get mud. There you go. We'll set up a little mud course here behind the RV. So I'm hoping to get back out tomorrow and jump the big hills over by the I don't know if I'll be here late enough though. They might have the monster truck still out there, but I'm hoping to launch some of those big hills again. But yeah, we'll see. But I'm just crunchy. Everywhere I touch is kind of painful and like stiff and cracky feeling. So I need to, hopefully we have some kind of lotion in here. But the sun's just kicking down here right now. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap. We've been going for now over an hour, which I didn't expect to be going on this long. Steve, the sun got me, man, and like you said, it's tiring. That sun just beating on you. It's surprisingly tiring. Not to mention, I was running like, dude, I was doing too much. I think I'll probably not do as much next year at one time, because I'm trying to handle too many things and race. And the t-shirt thing really was kind of a little bit, it threw a lot of extra work in on my plate that took a lot of time. So, Charles asking, if freestyle and hill and hole are possible this year unlike last year because of rain, or at least, okay, I didn't read it. At least they're at least freestyle and hill and hole are possible this year unlike last year. Yeah, this is actually a little bit different hill and hole. This was I don't know if they're gonna still do it. I think the whole type thing that they did last year and the other years, which they didn't get to last year, is gonna be what we're doing tomorrow anyway. And so this was kind of an extra thing that J Concepts did in order to, whoops, cancel. I was trying to read what somebody just wrote. What was the question? Oh yeah, so it's a little bit different. So this was a J Concepts thing to really, one, Dennis and them wanted to do it. Two, they always want to do it, and so they were doing a little bigger this year because they were releasing the body as well. And so, you know, they were kind of making a big deal of it, which is awesome. I thought what they did was super cool, and I loved it. So I hope they do it again. and I hope more guys enter in it. And I will be bringing a legit a mega mud truck to it next time, because I think it's super fun, and the mud and all that's just my favorite. So other questions popped up. Somebody said 6 trucks in filming and selling. I bet that would be hectic and nonstop. Props for doing all that, then jumping online. I'll send you some Monster Energy drinks. That's what I need, man. I should have brought my Monster fridge. Do I have air conditioning? I do. I'm not feeling it, man, because I'm still so just clammy from all. I mean, I put on sunscreen probably 10 times today, and it didn't do any good. In fact, the last time I put it on, it burned so bad up in like my eyebrows and my eyes here. It was killing me. And so the problem is I can't put sunglasses on, which would help that area because I can't see my screens. The polarizers on them make the screens just look black, so I can't see anything on them, which is really problematic when you're trying to film and do everything, especially with the drones and the zoom. If you're zooming in a lot with the iPhone, it's not the end of the world, but yeah. So yeah, it got hectic. The add-on of the shirts was I got hats. See the big one back there? That's what I brought it for. Does it zoom? Oh, it does. Ah. Okay, it only zooms straight. Okay, let's do this. Zoom. See my cowboy hat over there? I brought that but never put it on. I just felt silly. So, yeah, the drone, I've got some cool stuff. J Concepts, like I said, asked me to do a couple of them for them for their reveal video that they're going to do, or a video about the reveal. So I'm going to be getting Rich their stuff. I really like Fred and Rich. Those guys are cool. They've been in all these different events that the big ones that I've been to, and they're really pushing it, the monster truck stuff, and they have their own awesome ones that they enter in and race and do all this. And Fred is just like, I mean, when he does a body and he makes a truck, he goes all in, and they're just beautiful. So I like his, he has one of those monster slashes, but what he did was, you know, because it raises everything up, he has this like tub that goes over and covers all the electronics and everything that's black, and then he took vinyl in green and like made it look like the frame of the truck, which was a really cool idea. Then on the back where the body's cut out, he had to put another plastic piece of Lexan with a sticker, a vinyl sticker of like the whole engine compartment and all that you see through the back. So he just goes like another level. So I dig that about what they're doing, and because they just love it too. So they're passionate about it, and so when they're here and they're doing these things, I think it's really cool. So again, I hope they come back and do the Hill and Holt kind of thing again. I hope they keep making more mega truck bodies so we can have a a varied look and style and feel for them. Yeah, I'd love a blue Crush one. They should be talking to BC while they're here, trying to get him in on it. Charles is saying he's currently building one of the Slash conversion kits. That's cool. Those things are wicked for freestyle. I'll tell you what, you can just abuse those trucks. I think that's what I should do next. I want a really cool freestyle monster truck, and I think the Slash conversion could be it. Strap 4S in that thing and you'll never get stuck on your lid. I think that's the one that Fred goes nuts with. But yeah. Yeah, J Concepts and them are sponsoring, are going to be through any of the monster truck events near you guys. Just go and check it out. Yeah, they do good stuff. So I met him the first time was last year, and I was a noob to all the monster truck stuff, the scale monster truck stuff. So I had my, I was like, yeah, I'm rolling in with my, what did I have? I had my Red Cat with just a brushless motor in it, pretty much stock, Mod 1 gearing, that was it. and I had Proline Destroyers and Devastators, and that I thought was cool, you know. And I had an SMT-10 that I just the night before, because I bought it, but I've been traveling a lot for work, and so I knew I didn't want to drive it brushed. I'd seen it, and it was like, nah, it's not even worth it. So I waited, and I knew I was coming to that race, and so I got home from traveling. I think I was in Peru right before. Oh no, maybe Kenya. And so I got home, and like the night before the race, for 2 nights, I got in and started just taking it apart and upgrading the gearbox and the drive shafts and the brushless system I put in it. So I did those 3 upgrades knowing that that drive chain was going to need it. But boy, because of that, I was clicking those stock bevel gears like nobody's business. Like first day, I had those things stripped and they were clicking, and you know, of course, created problems. But no, I was still running the stock drive shafts because I remember I didn't think I was going to get to race because of all the rain and it was behind and I had to go somewhere. And so I went out and I was just freestyling it over on the stuff the Andersons had put out. And yeah, I busted the drive shafts, the stock one, and stuff was flying. And then I ended up being able to make my race. So I'm like jamming, like looking around. I wasn't looking around. Somebody's like, oh man, here, we can hook you up. And so they started going around and finding parts and able to reassemble some kind of a drive shaft system. But ended up popping out in the race anyway, and I ended up just doing what I do and front flipping off the final ramp and all that just for fun. And yeah, anyway, that was a good time when I think back on it. Yeah, but I had no clue what was going on, so I'm up at their tent, and so now I've got this son of a digger. I need some pro tires because I decided I wanted to run both trucks. I was only going to run one, and so that's when I got the Firestorm tires, because I wasn't, again, going for competition. I was going for looks, and those look more realistic to me than the Firestorms on a scale level. But yeah, that's when I met them for the first time. No idea who they were, what they were doing. Matthew Mortillo with the Solid Axle Monster Mayhem was right next to me, parked out, had no idea who they were. He was big in the scene and all that. And he was doing his Excalibur that weekend, getting that all detailed out for the show and shine and retro stuff. CCxRC was next to me. I just was clueless about who everybody was and what was going on. So so a little bit more fun this year, kind of having a little bit more grasp on it, though I'm still kind of a noob about it all. But that's all right. We're all a noob at something. So maybe they're noob at video stuff. I don't know. I saw my camera there. But it's been good. I need to find more places to do just racing and get over the seeing other cars and all that. So but yeah, that's what we'll be working on. And just kind of getting used to the light systems and all that. So, if anybody has any other questions, I think I'm gonna get ready to. Hopefully, I have enough water in this thing left to take a shower. Otherwise, I'll be going looking for the hoses out on the track, hosing myself down, get this sunscreen off. The layers and layers of it. I'm like a house that's like 100 years old that just has so much paint. It's all sunblock. But yeah. All right. Thanks, Ray. I will have a good night. I'm sure I will sleep well tonight. We start again, I think 9 in the morning, they said. I can't wait. You know what I'm looking forward to? Last little tangent is those guys with the pullers. I bet those guys have more money into their trucks than most of these people do for our race trucks, you know. And it seems like such a smaller class. I don't know why it does. Maybe because I don't have one. It doesn't feel like maybe it's as big a thing. But for these guys, I mean, it's a big deal. Their trucks are insane. And lots of custom work on them. The metal working's insane, and so I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. We'll be sure we get footage of that, and that'll be a lot easier to live stream than the rest of them, because this side-by-side racing, where they go away from each other and then come back, is just like so hard. You either have to, if you want to be in close where you can see details, you got to zoom in on just one side. You got to pick one, and then, or you have to be just really wide, and you can't really see a whole lot of the details. But you get to see both people and where they're at on the track. So I try and do that for the live streams where you see both, because that way anybody could go back later and maybe see their race. And then with this camera for the other videos, I'm going more just overview kind of thing. So Kevin Martin's Warlord is pretty sick, and he has a lot tied up in it. Okay, I'll have to look at that again. I mean, I was just looking at him on the my battery's low on my computer right now, and I have it plugged in, so can't show anything else. But I had it some footage of those things. I was just couldn't believe it, how much was in it. Racing, still can't believe Adam bet his father in that race today. Man, I totally missed that. I totally missed it. I was trying to get back. I just broke my truck, and I was trying to get back and get my wife and kids set up with some stuff. I just done all the drone stuff, and I knew that I had to switch my drive shaft back to my my son of a digger. I didn't know what the order was, because I've been live streaming everything, and all of their plans and all that they're qualifying, all the lists and stuff are online. So my phone was tied up, and I couldn't ever get on and look at the order of events or where I was in my brackets and all that, and I kept having to ask people. So that's been the one drawback for the live streaming all this stuff from my phone, is I literally, from the beginning in the morning until what time I go to dinner tonight, almost 8, my phone's been live streaming or doing something. So I didn't have a clue, so I just rushed back to try and get that drive shaft back out and get the son of a digger set back up in case I needed it to run. And then, yeah, I know that Dennis and T-Man had raced, and I don't know where the wagers were. Steve Clark saying my phone data's got to be crazy high. I got a warning from T-Mobile this morning that I'd gone over 50 gigs this month, and that they're going to be throttling me back in congested areas. So I don't know how the quality is on this right now, but they may be throttling me back right now. I had it drop out a couple times on me today, twice. But I have unlimited, and I pay extra because they notice that I stream a lot. So I don't know what that means when they send that kind of warning to me. What really takes me off, though, is it's Google Photos. And I turned off the thing where it says not only do I have an unlimited plan, but I pay extra for like their pro business plan, which allows me to have unlimited tethering for my computer to it. And so, but they also count that in that 50, which is really lame. So their unlimited is not very unlimited, especially when they're counting the gigabytes from both of them. But it doesn't cost me anymore. What they just do is they'll throttle you back. The streaming thing that they warned me on, I think it was like a $3 or $5 thing. But I've used 50 gigs is a lot, and so I went looking at what app was using it. It was 37 gigabytes to Google Photos, which I never ever opened. I just let it back up my photos to Google so that they're in my Google account, but I don't ever like use it on my phone for it. But I turned off for it to do the backup when I was on cellular, but it apparently still was, and so I don't understand that at all, because it happened a couple months ago. I had an issue with that, and I looked, and it was Google was trying to back up my entire library from like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, I've had an iPhone for 10 years, and so however long I've been doing iCloud. So it's trying to take all those iCloud photos and back them up to Google, and so it was huge, and it does video. So every video that I record on these, it's been using my data to back my video up to Google, which is just painful when it's doing higher res of it. So anyway, that's the lesson learned. I just went in, and when you look up your data usage, you can just say, don't let this use anything. So I didn't use the app this time to tell it not to use my data. I used my phone settings to say this app can't use my cellular settings at all. And so now I keep getting warnings from Google. So I'm probably going to just delete the Photos app off of that phone if this doesn't work, because I need to use that data for other things like today and this weekend. This is the second time it's happened. The first time it happened was when I was going camping in North Carolina for a week and a half or whatever, up in the mountains, and I was going to have to use my phone for mobile for my kids to be able to watch movies or whatever we were going to do. I was going to tether it and do all that. Well, right before we go, I get this warning that I've used over 50 gigs. It's my first month with the company, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, that was back in March. So this is, again, this is the second time I've done it. But both times it was Google when I looked at it. And so that was frustrating. But I'm glad that the streams are working all right then. Because I had no idea this morning when I got the message at about 5:30 a.m. that my data was capped. And so, yeah, I mean, that was the big draw for us to move over. Was I had an awesome plan with AT&T that was grandfathered in since 2010, and I had an unlimited world plan. I could use my data anywhere in the world, unlimited, for $60 a month, and that was my just data fees, and then I had my regular phone fees on top of that. But T-Mobile was offering the same thing, but a lot less. And so this is actually a world plan, supposedly. But now that I'm seeing all these other detailed, warnings, I'm sure I'll be questioning that a little bit. But T-Mobile's pretty widespread, so it's a pretty big market. They're bigger in Europe than they were in the U.S., so it's possible that you'd be able to use that network and not have issues internationally. But haven't needed it much recently since I stopped working in humanitarian work. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of a tangent for an ending. But yeah, as long as they'll let me keep streaming tomorrow, we'll go ahead and keep streaming. Ray says you should get your Gravedigger body signed by Dennis Anderson tomorrow before everything's over with. He actually usually isn't here tomorrow, but I already got it signed back there. You can see the silver right on the top. I was gonna have him do it like lower on the side body panel with like a black marker, but he came already ready to go with a silver marker that could write right on the black. So he said, here, I'll just do it on the top. So I actually like it better, so that's good to go. But I mean, I got photos and video of him driving it, so that's pretty cool too. But alright guys, I've really crashed now. I'm hitting that wall. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for being so cool as always. We'll be on definitely tomorrow for you guys. All right, catch you later.